In this video, I'm going to be showing you a basic setup for when you're doing a matte shadow type rendering within Maya. Matte shadow is one of the production shaders that ships with Maya that are hidden. You have to enable them. There's videos out there that show you how to do that. The stuff I'm going to show you can also be found on Zap's Mental Ray Tips. He has some example scenes you can use. This is one of the example scenes here. A few different Maya scenes you can use. You can open up and take a look at what he did to set up the shaders. It's similar to what I'm going to be showing you. So here we have the scene. I've got some geometry, and that's about it so far. First thing I want to do is bring in a photo background, and I'll just plug it into the image plane of my camera. And there it is. In the properties for the image plane, I want to change this to looking through camera so that I don't see it in these other views here. I just want to see it right here. And I'm going to come down here and make sure fit to resolution gate is turned on. And I want to make sure that in this view I have my resolution gate turned on, so I see I can see here what we're going to render. And actually, let's just double check that while we're here. I'll check my output resolution and make sure it matches the resolution of my photo background. I don't recall what it is. Let me check here. 3680 by 2760. 2760. Notice I turned off maintain width height ratio so that I could type in these two values separately from each other. Now I'm going to turn that back on because I don't want to test render anything this huge. So I'll just plug in 800 for here, and then it's going to automatically update down here since I have this turned on. And let's jump to the quality tab. Usually what I always do, since I'm not usually too concerned if it's going to take me 1 minute or 3 minutes to do a render, I'm just going to jump down and choose production, and that's going to really quickly jump through all this stuff, and it's going to make sure my ray tracing samples are up high enough and all that stuff. We're going to come over to the indirect lighting tab, turn on final gather, and turn this down a little bit. And that should be it for our render settings for a while. So we've got our photo background. I have this stand-in geometry here, which is just made to represent different areas in the picture. Let me turn on X-ray shading so you can see. I've got a road, then the sidewalks here, and then just these side walls of the buildings that are represented by this really simple geometry. And it's this geometry that we're going to apply our matte shadow material to. The sphere is just going to get a very reflective material so we can just kind of see the environment on the sphere. So the next step, we could do it in different orders, but right now let's just hop into the node editor and start creating some nodes. I'm going to type MIP here so I can see my Mental Ray production shaders. And I know I'm going to need a camera map. I know I'm going to need a matte shadow. Oh, we're going to get confused here. Separate these. And I know I'm going to need a ray switch environment. I know I'm going to need a mirror ball. And that's good for now. Yeah, that's good for now. So, let me set up the camera. Let's select the camera right here and access its properties on the Shape tab in the Attribute Editor. The environment shader is what we want to do right now. I want to plug in this. Where did it go? Here's one thing I don't like about the new node editor. You can't really read what these are. You have to actually click on it. Okay, ray switch environment. That's what I want. So now that I know this is the one I want, let me go back to the camera. And I'm going to drag and drop this right onto our environment shader. And this is under the Mental Ray tab in the camera attributes on the camera's shape node. MIP ray switch environment right here. This thing is going to be our background and our environment map. You'll see right here it's a ray type switcher. So it's when you're looking through your camera, you're going to have two environments going on. You're going to have what you see straight through the camera, and then you're going to have everything else you don't see in the environment. And that's what we're going to have control over right here. So for the background, that's going to be our photo. And I can't just plug a file texture in here. It has to be a Mental Ray camera map node. So let's get that. I think I created one over here somewhere. What's this? That's not it. There it is, camera map. So I'm going to drag and drop that onto our background shader. Let's get that shading group. I don't want to see the shading group right now. Okay. Now, here's the camera map, but there's no photo yet. We need to assign the photo to the camera map. So I'm going to come over here, click on the map slot, and open up my file. There we go. Now we've got our photo assigned to the camera map, assigned to the background portion of our environment switcher. Now for the actual environment, this is where we're going to put our mirror ball in. So I'll just drag and drop the mirror ball on there. And same thing, the mirror ball needs a texture. I'm just going to use the same node that we have here for our camera map texture. So I'll just drag and drop that. And, oh, actually, no, that's not good. Let me undo that. We need a mirror ball image for our mirror ball texture. I don't have one, so I'm going to show you a couple things you can do instead. But for now, just to get things going, I am going to give it this thing called green. It's just a bunch of green, and you'll see why later on. Alright, so our environment for our camera is set up. Now let's get our matte shadow material going that we're going to throw onto the walls. The important thing with this is background. I want to have the same background here that I have for the background in our camera, which is showing the photo. Otherwise it won't work. So I'm just going to come up here, I'm going to grab my camera map, which it has to be the camera map, can't be the file texture, it has to be the camera map. I'm going to grab the camera map and drag it right on top of background for our matte shadow material. I made that connection. And while I'm in here, let's just double check if there's anything else we want to do. I could turn on catch reflections. Yeah, let's just do that for now, just for fun. Crank up the color a little bit. We'll probably turn this off later, but that's okay. Let's assign our materials here. So I'm going to select my stand-in geometry and assign the material to there. And, oh, I need a reflective material for the sphere. Let's create that. I'm going to use a MIA material. We'll just choose the Chrome preset. Select my sphere and assign it to that guy. And let's see, I think we're ready to do a test render and see where we're at.